right, welcome back from that little commercial break. This is Inside Bodybuilding. I am Matt Monrad. Taylor Normando is with me, and we have our second guest, and it is future IFBB pro, but for now, NPC, three-time team national champion, Cody Montgomery. Welcome to the show, Cody.
How's it going, guys? Pleasure to be on. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
We're super excited because we like to get guests that are either very topical or big time stars, and I think you're soon to be a big time star, but definitely topical because you have the NPC USAs where you hope to turn pro in 11 days from now. So that's a big deal. How fired up are you about that show?
Man, it's been a journey. I'm very excited. Obviously, going into any show, I'm always excited, but this one's a little bit more. It's going to be first time, stepping on stage with the big boys, so to speak. No more collegiate or teenage bodybuilding for now. This will be a good testament to see where I stand, and I'm excited to bring my best and see how it goes.
Do you think you're pretty? I mean, we know you're rare. I mean, you got a very elite physique at a young age, 21 years old. But like you said, you're going against the big boys. You could be going against guys that are 35, 40 years old that have been training for 20, 25 years. We hear the phrase a lot, muscle maturity. Do you think you have that going against these guys that are a lot older?
To a certain extent, I think I do, but I think obviously, that's something that comes with time. Somebody like John Meadows that's been training for years and years and years is going to have a lot better, muscle maturity in certain areas than I do. But, it's a different look. It's not all about muscle maturity. I think I do have a good deal of muscle maturity, especially for my age. I think that's probably one of the contributions to, me winning at 17, my first national title as a teenager. Just from, I think early on, I could get that graininess and that, conditioning that a lot of other teenagers couldn't, even, when I was just, playing football and working out.
What about that? I mean, because I think, like you said, and I've noticed it too. I mean, I think a lot of guys that start training when they're teenagers, I mean, if you work hard and you eat a lot, all of our friends probably grew pretty well, but and obviously you did as well. But your muscles, like they have that, they have that round 3D look that comes with age. What would you attribute that to? Is that all genetics, or is there a certain way you were training differently than kids maybe on your football team?
I think it's a great deal of genetics. I think bodybuilding, obviously, you can work hard, you can do whatever you want to do, but at the end of the day, you only have a certain set of genetics. I do think that, you can see, like, I posted a picture on my Instagram with my mom a while back, and people were commenting on her arms because, she doesn't even work out. She's, in her early 50s, and, she works out, but she doesn't lift. She'll go swim or whatever, but she still has some decent biceps on her. So I think there's definitely genetics play a role in it, but I think nothing like the heavyweights. And just I've been training for almost 7 years now, lifting weights. It's crazy to say that, still being only 20, but I started around when I was like 13 or 14 in the weight room. So I have been lifting for, a while. And I think, I hooked up with, some really good people early on. Cormier I met when I was 17, he really taught me how to, put the mind in the muscle and train in a positive manner and not tear my body up from a young age,
Yeah. And they talk about that because I know, Taylor, you had a question about Cormier form, didn't you?
Yeah, I was just I was going to ask how that all came about. You had that training video with Pekulski and Cormier, and I was wondering if that's something that kind of happened just for the it gained some notoriety there for a little bit. He was pretty damn intense, but I was just curious how that relationship started and how that training video came. But you said you've known him for quite a few years then.
Yeah, so, what happened is in 2012, when I won the NPC Team Nationals the first time, they had you go to Venice, you train with the pro, and you do the Flex photo shoot. So that was my first photo shoot with Flex was with Cormier, in Venice Beach, and we went to lunch afterwards at, I think, Sauce, I think the place was called, and or some place, I don't want to butcher it, but we went to a restaurant after, and he sat down, and we had a really good lunch, and we hit it off, and ever since then he's really been a mentor for me, and he's always been there for me when I've been going through stuff, or not only in bodybuilding but as just a mentor overall in life, and it's really been great to meet him, and how BPAC and that all went down is Cormier ended up, he was out there in Tampa training BPAC for the Arnold, and I was like kind of getting into the groove as far as I was starting to eat again and train again and stuff. I had been going through some stuff in the off season and just needed a revamp of getting ready for, at the time I was going to get ready for nationals in November. And now obviously it's USA's, but so I went out to Tampa, trained with them, and then I actually ended up signing with Blackstone that same weekend. We made it a whole big deal, the whole trip and everything. It was a really cool setup from Aaron.
Yeah. You said that Cormier helped you a lot with training the mind-muscle connection. Did he have any other advice, maybe just more career-wise, that really stuck with you in the beginning?
He always said, don't put all your eggs in one basket, he's always, my parents have always wanted me to do something else other than bodybuild, as far as, always have a backup plan. I've been in school, obviously, and he's always, said that the same thing, but, he's just more so just keep my head on straight and, don't lose who I am as a person, don't let bodybuilding, take over my life, and have balance. That's what he always would.
Have you found balance? Are you managing that pretty well?
I've probably not. I mean, I don't know if you've been watching the Project Next Level series, but came out with like more of an emotional episode a few episodes ago, and just went through how I've been. I went through a pretty good little depression within myself. Not even with the bodybuilding or anything like that. I just had some personal relationship issues, and just just life kind of hit me in the face. I was a new college student and stuff. So, it all just kind of hit me at once. And so, yeah, it's more so like I picked to do USA's to get myself out of that rut. And,
right.
It's bodybuilding has really kept me aligned as far as, without bodybuilding, I don't even think I'd, still be in school. I don't know if I would have even gone to college,
Where do you go to school?
I go to University of Texas at San Antonio.
Okay. What are you studying?
Just general business. So I'm going to keep it broad and then go from there.
Gotcha. I gotcha. So talk about that. Like what kind of problems did you go through? Like if you want to get into any specifics, like was it,
I mean, I don't want to get into like too much detail, but I honestly, I was in a really long relationship, and, I didn't know how to, do myself outside the relationship. I lost myself as a person, and then, that was, there's a lot of things going on at one time. I was without a contract. I got dropped from MD. So I was like, basically I went from having two sponsors, with a monthly paycheck from both. And then, I for almost 6 months, I, didn't have any income. So it was why did they, I had won.
Why did they, I mean, you're the most successful, teen bodybuilder we've seen in a couple decades, really. What were the reasons that MD and Evogen gave for letting you go?
Well, Evogen and me, mutually parted ways. And then some other things happened to where, I had some other stuff fell through, and then I was basically, then I was left with what's plan C, and there wasn't one. So, and then with MD, I'm not really 100% sure. I wasn't really ever given the reason, but, I was, no hard feelings to them at all. I was really happy with them. They took care of me when I was there. So, no hard feelings at all.
Well, I think we've talked to a lot of guys that have been dropped from MD, and they kind of echo your same sentiments of, well, we don't really know why, and we don't, so why was what was the mutual breakup with Evogen? Why did you want to leave them, I guess is the question.
I don't really want to get into all the specifics, but I mean, obviously we just couldn't, come to decisions on the new contract after my 2-year deal was up.
I got you. I was working with how was Haughty? He's the fish man. He's got kind of like a cloud around him. People either really love him, like Phil Heath would go to bat for him and die for him. It almost seems like, and then you have other people that think he's full of nonsense. Where do you kind of stand on Haughty?
Haughty's a great guy. He took care of me, and I have nothing bad to say at all. He's really a funny guy, and I enjoy his being in his presence. And when I see him, and I actually ran into him at the Phil Heath Classic this year, and we chatted up for about an hour, and he's always been there for me, so I have nothing bad to say at all. He's a great guy.
That's cool. So you can confirm though that his products do or don't create more quad sweep when you do the Stairmaster. Have you seen that ad?
I think I saw that post.
I don't know the name of the product, but one of them he says, if you take this before you do the Stairmaster.
I need more quad sweeps. So
see, maybe you should get on. We won't tell Aaron and PJ that you're taking his product. That's cool. Hey, well, you talked about football. I have a question because I played football. It's not really conducive to bodybuilding. So when you trained, I'm sure your high school coach had you on a more football oriented training program. Did you do a bodybuilding program like at a separate gym?
Well, here's what happened, and this will give you a testament of how all or nothing I am. I played football in 7th and 8th grade, which here in Texas that's middle school. And then high school is, freshman year, obviously. And I played freshman year. And I did my first show freshman year, like the summer before freshman year, I think. And then I decided I wanted to bodybuild, but it was too late. I already signed up for football. So I finished out the season, powerlifted, kind of tried to bodybuild at the same time, but it was like I was a running back. So my groins were always getting torn up and my ankles. So I could never, train, it would seem like, for like 3 days after a game, Mm-hmm. So I quit football ultimately right after that. I was like, you know what? I want to train like a bodybuilder. I don't want to, go to school all day, go train in the weight room after that, eat like 12 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches throughout the day just to maintain my weight. And then, get home and try to go to the gym again and lift like a bodybuilder,
I absolutely understand.
Hey, Cody, you sort of transferred right from school to more school. So I'm curious, did you ever have any periods where you had to get like a normal grind of a job, or have you kind of sort of bypassed that by going through university and all that?
Well, my parents have been really supportive with my school career. They sent me away to school right away. So, I never really had to have a consistent job. I've worked really hard with bodybuilding to where it's been, it's been able to support me ever since I won that first national show.
Good for you.
Who got you into it? Because you said you started your first show was like right around 9th grade. So who's your mentor that pushed you that way?
Honestly, I'm trying to remember. I honestly, like, this is how it all went down pretty much. Is I was lifting for football, and it was like between 8th grade and 9th grade, I was getting ready for freshman football. So I was trying to put on weight. I was in the weight room during the summer at Lifetime, and a guy came up to me, and I was like in a tank top, and I started kind of, watching the motivational videos and stuff. So I think it was like a House of Pain tank top, like kind of looked like, like maybe a bodybuilder kind of look, except I was maybe like a buck, 20 or I don't know how, nothing back then. But he had offered me a sponsorship at his local shop to do the Europa. I mean, it was like, it was basically he would give me my diet and then give me the supplements at cost or whatever, and then pay my entry. So I was like all for it. I was like, I'll do it because supplements,
Right.
So I did it, and as soon as I stepped on stage, it was the weirdest thing. I felt like I've done a lot of sports, and I felt like I was finally at home. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, it never since then. I was like I said, I quit football immediately as soon as I could. I pretty much dedicated my life from that point on, to bodybuilding. And then, 2 years later, or I think it was No, it was like 3 years later. Or no, it was 2. Yeah, 2 years later, I did that 2012 Team Nationals was my third show, and that was really like what solidified like I could make something of this. Maybe, you know, let's see.
What are your friends like going back then? You know, this isn't that long ago, but like think back to 9th, 10th, 11th grade, even 11th grade when you actually became really good. Your friends and family, do they think it's weird, or are they all in supportive, or what's just kind of the overall? Because it's kind of like being how I see it, like being an actor. Like if you make it to Hollywood, you're cool, but if you're in theater, you're a dork. You know what I mean?
I could say this, like the people that thought I was weird back then probably like don't now. They're like, oh shit, it's paying off, you know, or whatever. No, I think. Definitely mixed. I think definitely like my parents thought it was the weirdest thing ever. Still, my parents, they're for it. They're going to be in Vegas, which is going to be awesome. They weren't there this last year, so it's going to be really cool for them to be there this year. But they've been really supportive. It's just, you know, it's more so they don't really know what to make of it. You know, it's a different thing. It's not a norm, you know?
Right.
But amongst my friends, you know, they're all really supportive. You know, back then, I think there's probably some people that were really not supportive, but they weren't my friends. You know, all my friends and the ones that I can call friends now too, even looking back, you know, I can still, most of my friends back then are still my friends now, you know, so that it's cool. I mean, we're not really close. We don't, you know, I live all the way in San Antonio. I don't live in Dallas anymore, but I could still hit them up and they'd still, you know, they're texting me and rooting for me and everything. So it's really cool.
Yeah. Hey, let's switch gears a little bit. I want to hear more about the story of you signing with Aaron and PJ, and now you're with that crew with Blackstone and Prime Nutrition. Are they just completely, I mean, they do things completely different than almost anybody in the whole industry. What have you noticed that you like, or not only did you like, but that you maybe didn't even expect since you've been with Blackstone and Prime?
Well, I mean, first of all, I don't know if you guys saw, I'm sure you have, but just got a contract extension.
Yeah, 2 years, right?
Yeah, I just got a 2-year contract extension, which was really out of blue. They didn't have to do that. You know, I was, you know, I went out to Boca here a few weeks ago, you know, to an awesome trip. You know, they've been great. It's really awesome to be treated like the way that I have. You know, they make me feel like I'm family. You know, and it's been awesome. You know, it's like I said, I've been to Boca already 2 times, and I'm going to be planning to go back soon here again. And you know, they take care of their athletes, and they're just really humble and genuine people that you know want their athletes and whoever they're associated with to do better and, you know, push them in the right direction, you know.
What products are you currently using of theirs?
Man, I use a ton of products. This close to show, I start to eliminate a few, but I mean, I'm using like, I'll say like today I've used Resurgence like 4 times, EAs 3 times. I do a lot of glutamine. I do turning, intra-workout, max HP. I've been using pre-workout. Their new isolate's been awesome. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to try it, but it is freaking awesome. And it's all tested, you know, which is the really good thing about that protein.
Right on. Now, what about in the off season? Is it just all fair game? You know, if you, when you win in 2 weeks, is it hop right back on everything that they offer? Is there anything that you won't touch?
I mean, I keep it pretty. I'm definitely a basics guy. I just recently, like this prep, I've been doing the SARMs and stuff. But that's pretty much as crazy as I'll go. Maybe the post show, I'll throw some Apex Mail in. But I keep it pretty basic as far as, you know, more amino acids and recovery products. And
what do you think about what do you think about the MK Ultra?
I haven't tried it. I just got a bottle of it, but I have heard great things about it, and I've heard that it's really good for appetite. So in the off season, I would be definitely using that.
Yeah, it's not something you want to throw in 2 weeks out from a show.
Yeah, exactly. I just, the less variables at this point, the better. But I will say that I've been using the LGD Elite, and it is doing great. I did the Octapure right before it, and then I switched over. I really like both of them.
How many bottles of Euphoria do you go through a day? That's Aaron's product. No, I'm just kidding. Aaron Clark's product. That's right.
Yeah.
Not Aaron Singer.
That stuff's a trip though.
It's like it's not a bodybuilding supplement. It's just off the chain.
No, it's not a bodybuilding supplement. It's more just chill out and take some crazy stuff.
It's a calorie-free party, is what I like to call it.
Yeah.
So is now speaking of Aaron Singerman, he's spoken extremely highly of you. Obviously, did you know that he's planning on naming his newborn after you?
I did not know that. Is he really?
Only if you win.
Only if I win. Wow.
Only if you win. Yeah. So there's added pressure.
That's how rumors start, right there.
Oh my goodness.
He also told me that you can tell me this is true or bullshit, but have you never cheated on your diet?
I honestly haven't. Like when I diet, it's all or nothing. But I will say, off season, I'm not 100% all the time. So when I say cheat on my diet, it's more so when I'm pre-contest,
I got you. Okay. Well, that's good.
And even to me, I'm very OCD. I think most bodybuilders, or at least good bodybuilders, are OCD.
Good was a good addition there.
So I pretty much have everything I've eaten for the last 6 months written in a book.
Wow.
To the T. Because Chris sends me exactly what to eat every day,
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Hey, I want to hear more about this. Your obviously your upcoming Vegas trip. Just give me the whole rundown. When do you get into Vegas? What is your day to day building up to it? Are you going to train while you're out there? Do you know what gym you're going to be at? What hotel you're staying at? Just kind of give everybody that fly on the wall. USA is what's Cody up to.
Well, the show is prejudging is Friday, and then we weigh in and we do the check-ins and everything Thursday. So I'll fly in Wednesday afternoon with my trainer here in San Antonio, Roland. He's the guy that puts me through my workouts in Project Next Level that you guys can see on YouTube. And then Aceto gets in on Wednesday evening, and then we're all staying in a villa of some sort. It's a hotel, but it's a more of apartment style. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's booked. and then I honestly have no idea what the trip entails. All I know is what tomorrow entails, as far as, because pretty much Aceto goes off of look. So if I need to train while I'm out there, I think the hotel that I'm staying at is the one that Big Ramy stayed at for the Olympia. So they have a pretty decent gym, because I remember he posted it.
Okay.
So I'll probably just end up training at the actual hotel.
Have you heard the rumors about Aceto when he stays with guys in the hotel room before? Have you heard this rumor? It's he has onesies that little kids wear, and the pajamas go over the feet. Actually, yeah. I've heard Aceto wears that in the room. So.
Gear Sports Nutrition, the most revolutionary and groundbreaking ideas. The ideas that turn an entire industry on its ear. The true game changers. These ideas are often so simple, it makes you think, why has no one ever thought of doing this before? Gear Sports Nutrition is back and better than ever. Introducing a new fat burner that will change the game. Thermo G, the highest quality ingredients proven safe, effective, and deliver the most advanced results. Visit Gear Sports Nutrition at their new home, www.gearsportsnutrition.com, and be a part of the revolution. Gear Sports Nutrition and Project Bodybuilding. It just makes sense. GearSportsNutrition.com.
Really?
That's what I'm told. Because I do a radio show.
I heard he's such a dedicated coach that he sleeps in a chair if he has to.
Just watching.
Just watching. Seriously.
You're depleting too much. Wake up.
No, that's how dedicated he is to his athletes. He's honestly a blessing that I got associated with.
I was actually looking to ask you, how did the Aceto partnership begin?
I got in contact with him. Well, basically, as soon as I found out that he wanted to work with me.
And you were very familiar with him at that point already?
Yeah. I mean, he's the kind of coach, like when I started bodybuilding, it was like I was reading his stuff, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, because he's very exclusive, you know? So I was always like, if I ever have the chance to train with him, I will. You know what I mean? So as soon as I found out that he, you know, wanted to work with me and that he could, that he could make me better, you know, bring me to the next level, in hopes, you know, I was all for it. So we linked up in November, and I was still kind of going through my stuff, so I wasn't, 100% on my game. And he got me focused, and he's got me on my mind's in the best place it's been in during a contest prep ever.
So how does that work though? So he's doing obviously your diet and all the like detailed prep stuff, and then you got your guy that does your training, and he's there with you every day in the gym rolling. Do they actually talk to each other so they can kind of sync up their methods to help you out better?
No. Okay, so Roland actually was my training partner, and he owns the gym that I train at, the Muscle Factory here in San Antonio. The Muscle Factory gym, his gym that he owns. And we trained together last year, and then I went back home to Dallas and trained out at Destination for the rest of my prep. And now he's got some injuries he's dealing with and stuff, so he's just now putting me through my actual workouts.
Okay.
I'll send him over the workouts and stuff, but he doesn't really deal too much with the actual training part of my of my prep. He'll just more so say like, all right, today, let's cut back. How many sets do you usually do? And if I say 24, he'll say do 18 today. You know what I mean?
I gotcha.
That kind of thing.
So he's more concerned about the energy expenditure as it relates to calories burned.
Yeah, because we're not. Most of his guys, have training experience previous. Obviously, if something's really lagging, he's going to say, hey, you need to, think about doing this. But he's only asked me for my training, a few times, and he just, basically I stick to pretty basic stuff, and he's happy with that.
Well, I was going to ask because I want to know. I'd love to know, and I'm sure everybody listening would love to know. You're a hyper responder. Everything you do probably works great, but because you're so young, what kind of routines have you tried? Everything from Haughty's FST7 to DC training. Like, how far do you go back as far as what works and what doesn't?
I've trained a lot of different styles. I did mountain dog training for a long time. I did it for about 2 years. And I love that kind of training, but I've always been a volume guy. I love volume training. And that's what I've stuck to this year, more so just basic heavy lifting with, a lot of weight and a lot of reps, just getting in and kicking your ass in 45 minutes, an hour, and then, getting out and recovering outside the gym.
Is that kind of sort of like a Jay Cutler style, you mean? You ever watch?
Yeah, I've been actually watching a lot of his videos this year. Because he worked with Aceto in 2001 or 2001 or 2002 when he looked arguably his best.
Yeah, it's 2001. Yeah.
So I've definitely been looking up his videos and his training back then, and just basics never fail, and I've always believed that. And like today I'm 11 days out, and I didn't do anything special. I just I did leg press and I did squats and I did some walking lunges and just the regular stuff.
Yeah. What's your weekly split look like?
Right now I'm only training 5 days a week. I've been training 5 days a week for the last 6 months.
So how do you pair everything up?
Just hit everything once a week.
Okay.
Gotcha. Pretty basic. And I might hit hamstrings a second time during the week on like shoulder day after shoulders if I feel like they can take it,
Gotcha. What do you think you're going to weigh in at the weigh-ins in a week? You're to ballpark it.
Ballpark it, probably 225. Because I gotta make 225, so that's probably gonna be my weight.
So top of the heavies, I like that. But where do you think? Obviously we don't want to go too far into the future, but how much do you think at 20 years old your body can hold 5 years from now? I mean, do you think you can be one of these mass monsters? Do you even want to be a mass monster?
I mean, right now, I don't know. It's weird to see your body change each year. This year, obviously, I'm heavier than the year previous, and my body is taking the weight. I think, well, I like my look this year. It's a different look than I've ever had, much fuller, because I've never really dieted and tried to maintain fullness at the same time. More so just been trying to get shredded, you know?
Right.
So this has been a new experience with the keto, trying to stay full. But I think I could see my body at, you know, like 245, 250 on stage one day. I think it could handle it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Agreed.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see any reason why not. I mean, you have the structure to carry it. So, but what bodybuilder, you know, that you see in today's game, whether it's 212 or open class, what's a guy you're like, yeah, I wouldn't mind looking like that guy. Anybody in particular?
I mean, I can only look like how I look, right?
No, I know that. I mean, that's absolutely right. But would it be more like do you see yourself more like, I prefer a Flex Wheel, or a Flex Lewis look, or something?
I do like his physique. I like Flex's physique, I think. But I mean, I'm not I'm not the same height as him. It's all relative, you know.
How tall are you?
I'm about 5'7" or 5'8".
Well, he's 5'1", so.
Yeah.
That's the official record, I believe, yeah.
Now, you're taller than Aaron Clark, is that right?
I think so. We're about the same. No, yeah, I'm taller than him by a little bit.
By about 4 inches, right?
I think so.
I just bust his balls. We've had him on the show, and he's a friend of the show, so that's cool. So how, one thing I always loved asking, whether you're an NPC bodybuilder like yourself or a seasoned IFBB pro, I'm always curious how much you guys actually follow the ins and outs of bodybuilding. So would you consider yourself like a big time fan? Are you like watching the outcomes of every IFBB show, going on this year?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big follower. It's weird because now I have, friends in shows doing pro shows and stuff. So it's like, I follow it closer and closer all the time, but I've always been a fan of bodybuilding. And I will follow it, but, getting closer to the show, obviously, like right now, I'm more focused on the task at hand. But, I'm really looking forward to see who claims the teenage national title next weekend. In Pittsburgh at Gary Edith's
your successor
NPC teen, collegiate, and masters nationals. Yeah, I have an idea of a few guys going in, so it'll be interesting to see who can pull it all together and get the title.
Drop some knowledge. I don't know the names, so give me some names we should look out for.
Honestly, I think if you go back and you look at pictures, the guy that won the light heavies last year, I don't want to butcher his name, but it's like. I want to say it's Muhammad something, and he's out of Texas, I think, and he works with a guy in Lubbock, and he looks good. He looked really good last year, and he's doing it again this year. So it'll be interesting to see if he can win at all. Because he won the class last year. Yeah.
Who do you like in the Olympia this year?
I think Phil Heath's going to win it.
Who do you got in second?
Honestly, it's so hard at that point. Like any of those guys can knock out anybody, but at the same time, you know how it's all going to play out. I think Kai, Dennis, and Dexter will be right there fighting it out, and whoever shows up could be second or third, or they're all crazy good athletes. It's such a hard job to judge. I'm not very good at judging the Olympia stage ones. I can't lie.
Do you think because at the risk of being presumptuous, I think it's a foregone conclusion, not if you turn pro, but when you turn pro. Do you think you see yourself as one of these guys who wants to compete a lot as a pro, like do 4 or 5 shows a year, or will you be one of these guys that does like one show and then takes off 18 months and then does another show? And
well, I think it's all relative. I think you see guys have to grind it out to get the Olympia qualification. And, you know, respect to them for grinding out, you know, and you do what you got to do, you know, as far as contracts and whatever else. But, you know, it's more so like that's a luxury to not have to compete as much. Like you see somebody like Phil, that, you know, he has got probably the best schedule. He does one show a year, you know, a few shows around one time a year, and can get it all done and locked up and keep his body real healthy. So I think, you know, that's the optimum way to compete, you know, at the top level of the IFBB. But, you know, the guys that do these tours and stuff, I would love to do a tour. I'm not gonna lie, that's one of my that's to me, like when Cormier and Ronnie and everybody back in the day used to do those overseas tours. That was like the prime era of bodybuilding. You know, it was like so cool. You know, I wasn't there alive to watch it, but, you know, going back and watching YouTube videos and hearing stories from Cormier and Dexter and stuff, it's really, you know, it's cool. It's a cool part of bodybuilding.
I agree. Hey, Taylor, you got anything for Cody before we let him go and finish his... I'm guessing it's tilapia. No, it's orange roughy. He's thinning his skin right now.
Yeah, let's hear what you're eating. We can hear you. I hear the microwave beeping and shit.
I am definitely eating oatmeal and some isolation.
That doesn't sound half bad.
With some peanut butter.
Oh.
Or almond butter.
Oh.
This guy is 10 days out, 11 days out, doing oatmeal and almond butter and throwing in a plug for his sponsor. I like him.
He's got it covered.
Any final words before we let him go, Taylor?
No, not so much. I'm just a little more curious about sort of like his main inspirations for getting into training. I was just kind of curious, like who, you know, we heard a little bit of what physiques he likes nowadays and stuff. I was just wondering if there's like ever what bodybuilder you saw that made you really want to get into bodybuilding.
I mean, honestly, like there's been one guy, and it's been Jay Cutler. I saw him back in the day, you know, in the magazines, and I started watching videos of him, and you know, honestly, like everything, you know, outside of bodybuilding and bodybuilding, you know, he's this businessman. I've always inspired to be his businessman. And then, you know, on top of that, he's a great bodybuilder and a great person. And he's a great ambassador of the sport and, you know, everything, you know, that somebody my age in that position, you know, to look up to, you know, that's, you know, couldn't have asked for a better role model, you know, five years ago to start looking up to.
For sure. I would agree. I think not to, you know, scare you or anything like that, but I've heard the name, sort of the comparison a little bit in just the career path so far. So I think that that definitely makes a lot of sense.
I appreciate that comparison. Humbling. Very humbling.
For sure.
I wasn't going to go that far, but boy, somebody must want an autographed 8x10, Taylor.
Of Jay Cutler?
No, of Cody.
Yeah, for sure.
So, okay, you know, since it's, you know, trying to be obviously very optimistic and positive, we think you're going to do very well, hopefully take home a pro card in 10, 11 days. Let's just play, you know, worst case scenario. I don't want to put any bad vibes in your brain, but let's say you don't win. Will you go ahead and try and do nationals at the end of the year?
I don't think so. I think this would be my show for the year, and I'm going to focus on school. I got a semester coming up that's going to be a little bit harder, and I put a little emphasis on bodybuilding the last few months, or the last 6 months, you know, leading up to the show. And, you know, regardless what happens, you know, with Prime and with Blackstone behind me, you know, I don't feel like I have the pressure to compete later this year, but, you know, if that, you know, comes my way, then I guess I'll be in Florida in November. But as of now, no.
We're not used to that kind of answer where someone has something other than bodybuilding to occupy them after the show.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I really giving the show my all, and I just, you know, I'm praying it goes really well, and then I want to focus on school, you know.
You know, Taylor, I can actually vouch for this because I was just talking to Ron Partlow this morning, and, you know, he just, you know, won his pro card at the Canadian.
Is he going back to school? Is he pulling?
He's not going back to school. But I asked him, I was like, you know, are you going to do Golden State or the Vancouver coming up in a couple weeks? And he goes, you know what? I'm taking the rest of the year off. I'm going to enjoy life. I realized that I'm already in shape and I could just do those to say I did a pro show, but I don't want to. And I was like, huh. So, you know, I mean, everybody's got their own reasons, and, you know, so
well,
you just,
and I think also a thing too, and this is another thing to go back on that question, but do I see myself as one of those bodybuilders that's going to compete a lot in the future or often? I always think you should only get on stage when you, well, not only, but for me, I like to get on stage and visibly be able to tell, like, you know, I improved. I don't ever want to get on stage and not improve. You know, if you look back on my pictures from the last, like, 4 shows I've done, I put on 10 to 15 pounds of stage weight, and every year my conditioning's been, you know, relatively the same or relatively around where I was in 2012. I mean, obviously that was the best conditioning I brought, but, you know, regardless, it's all like a process, you know, and I think that it takes a long time to improve. So I think depending on how everything goes in July or here in 11 days in USA's, you know, depending on how much farther I would have to go, you know what I mean? As far as like how much improvement I need, you know?
For sure.
well, very cool. You know, do you want to give any shout outs? You know, you've already said a lot about, you know, Aaron and PJ and Blackstone Prime, but anybody you want to say thank you to, or who supported you during your prep, go ahead and give that shout out.
And also where people can find your YouTube series as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, my Instagram, first of all, is at Cody_Montgomery. And my website is www.cody_Montgomery.com. People can message me through there or email me if they have any questions or anything. And, you know, I want to give a huge thank you to all my sponsors: Prime Nutrition, Blackstone Labs, Lockout Supplements, Cardillo Weight Belts, the Muscle Factory Gym. Roland and Marissa both have been a huge help to me. They own the gym. They've been more so of a family than anything to me these last few months during prep. So I want to give a huge thank you to them and my parents and everyone, all my friends and family that have been, you know, texting me and keeping me going each day, and just everyone that's been supporting me. And honestly, the amount of support I've gotten this year has just been overwhelming through social media and everyone following. And also catch the Project Next Level series. We got another episode to go, or 2 more to go before the show, on Aaron Singerman's YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/Aaron Singerman. And so, yeah, thank you guys all for the support. Thank you for having me on the show. And, you know, just know that I gave my all, and we're 11 days here, and we'll be praying.
We thank you very much, Cody, and everybody at Project Bodybuilding, Taylor and myself. We're definitely behind you. So we're looking forward to see what you do on the stage, and more in the future. We'll definitely have you on the show again in future episodes.
Good luck, man.
All right.
Good, man.